Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael and this is Happy Ghost Reacts. Today we will be continuing Attack on Titan, the final season, with season 4, episode 9, called Brave Volunteers. So to kind of recap the main things that happened last episode, we started off with them jumping into the Reiner versus Eren fight, as Eren was about to eat the Jaw Titan after just eating the Warhammer Titan. But as we learned, Eren was kind of running on fumes at that point, because he had transformed, I believe it was twice, after his initial transformation. So he had turned into the Titan form 3 times, and I can only imagine that exhausts your body. One thing that is kind of going to lead into my next point about the episode is the Warhammer Titan. I have no doubt that she had some sort of fighting training and experience, but as we kind of saw, and the Jaw Titan is even a perfect example of it, they really underestimated the power of the people from Paradis, because they've been the first 3 seasons we watched them, they've been trained to become fearless Titan killers. And that's one thing that Galliard was kind of pointing out, like, oh, they're not afraid of me, and they're like coming in on me to try and kill me, even though I'm a Titan. And then Lady Tiber, I believe is what I've heard her referred to as, Willie Tiber's sister, who is the Warhammer Titan. While she did have secrets up her sleeve, as this is the first time that Eren has encountered her Titan and the capabilities of that Titan, so she had that advantage. But overall, in a combat situation, I feel like she was obviously at the disadvantage, and we kind of saw that more and more as that fight progressed on, especially after her whole thing about her not having to be in the nape of the Titan form was figured out. That was kind of just like the nail in the coffin. It was just Eren had to figure out how to get inside of that cocoon of Titan skin, or whatever it's called, the hardened Titan whatever. I'm presuming it's the same thing that's used to make that underground cave thing in the rice, under the rice church, I believe is where I'm thinking of. Then we saw that the Jaw Titan's claws had the and obviously as we unfortunately saw, his teeth also had the capabilities of breaking through that cocoon, and as many people coined that whole situation a nutcracker situation. I couldn't agree more. So in that, Eren got his Warhammer Titan, and then we see Reiner wake up from the cries and screams of Falco and Gabby. He does. He kind of comes up, but he's not at full strength, and he looks very different, and it's because of his deformed Titan form. Kind of similar to what we saw when Eren was training his Titan, and sometimes he would only be X amount of meters tall. Some things wouldn't fully form. So, because he's already injured and didn't necessarily have the full intention to want to transform, but did, that was the result of that. And then we all anticipated this epic fight between Eren and Reiner, but that's where Attack on Titan does stuff really good with expectation versus reality. And what I mean by that is we expected a big fight, but it's not like Eren didn't just do all that stuff in the first 2 episodes before that, and Reiner wasn't just on the brink of death and wanted to die, and they both are not in the capabilities of fighting like they were in season 2 episode 7, I think it's called Close Combat. Then when they fought again in season 3, they both were prepared to fight, and we were like, oh, round 3, and we aren't getting that yet, anyways. And then he also saved the Jaw Titan from Aaron's literal grasp. He took him, and then Aaron and Mikasa went back to the Zeppelin. To which then, obviously, we saw Gabby follow, and the events of the episode, the biggest events of the episode, kind of unfold because of that. That talk between Gabby and Falco, while I didn't keep a lot of it in my reaction, I still want to talk about it. And it was mainly Gabby talking about how because of the actions of these Eldians on this city, the Eldians will probably never be able to recover their name from the devils that the world sees them as. And I wholeheartedly agree with her. It absolutely sucks that all these kids now have to deal with this. And Willie, whether or not this is how he anticipated or expected the declaration of war, as the episode was called, to go, where he expected some sort of attack on them, I don't think he anticipated it to this level. And Aaron essentially played into his hand and caused all of this stuff to happen. At least that's my assessment of it. If I'm wrong, obviously correct me without manga spoilers or whatever the case may be. Then we get onto the Zeppelin. Everybody's happy, cheering. Then that one guy stays out, gets shot by Gabby after their conversation. And then Colt's running up to them. Gabby's saying her goodbye to Falco, and then pulls the trigger on the ODM gear stuff to start flying up to the ship. And Falco grabs on. Gabby rolls on. Unfortunately, somebody on our side had to be, unquote, at this point I don't know anymore, our side. Sasha, we've been following for, I think the first appearance she had was episode 3 or 4 of season 1. And now she has been killed, unfortunately. Then following those events, Gabby and Falco are beaten up and brought into a room, to which Gabby spews all this stuff about being disciples and carrying out the will of their war leader Zeke. And then John was like, well, you can tell them all yourself, to which confirms why Zeke went down so easily. He knows what Levi's capable of. He has already experienced that pain before. So when we all saw him go down in a flash after Galliard was provoked and stopped defending him from the back, Levi took his opportunity and made it look like they killed Zeke, and ended up taking him onto the Zeppelin. As we found out, this is all his plan. I don't know where the crossovers between Zeke's plan and Aaron's notes happen. I don't know if I have to assume, based on Aaron's reaction, that he has been in cahoots with Zeke as well, because he does not seem in the least bit shocked of the situation. And Zeke seemed to be the mastermind behind everything to a point. I believe that Aaron's actions were his own, but I believe that Zeke and Aaron, I guess, were working together in some fashion over the last 3 to 4 years. Because as we learned through Peak's flashback, that we have now seen 2 of the people on the first ever scout ship sent over from Marley to Paradise after Zeke and Reiner return. The one gentleman is the one that was flying the ship when we first saw the Zeppelin show up, and then the girl was the blonde, tall person that I thought might have been Armin when they first showed themselves. And then we learned that it's kind of like another coup. Like they were switching sides, working from the inside. But the more that I sat and thought about it over the week, it really does make sense. Because why, after all of this, would Zeke want Marley to have this, one, have his Beast Titan power, two, he only has 1 year of his life left. Why not live it the way that he wants to, at least try and make a change about how Eldians are, like he said, like the future of Eldia and all this other stuff. I'm very curious to see what his plan is. But now that we're going back to Paradise, I have a few. Actually, before I jump into that, I've been talking now. I look at it's been 11 minutes almost now. Good thing about chapters is that you can just skip this if you don't feel like listening. The one other thing I pointed out last episode is that Eren has kind of come full circle with his with how he's been treated, and I was rewatching season 1 to kind of like catch things that maybe I missed the first time around, the second time that I've seen it. So there was this line at the end of season 1 where Eren was first thinking about transforming, and then Levi was like, you can't really control this beast, essentially. Like at the end of the day, he's gonna do what he wants to. And that's kind of come full circle. And then the same way that the scouts are treating him, he doesn't have their trust anymore. He's being treated like an animal again, all wrapped up because of his decisions. Except now he's like so much stronger and so much more capable of his Titan abilities. But now that we're going back to Paradise, I suppose I have two things that I'm curious about. Obviously, the impending doom on Paradise that is going to be coming from all of the places that were impacted because of Eren's and the scouts' attack on all of those people. And are we gonna finally see Annie again? We haven't seen Annie in anything other than flashbacks since, I believe, literally the last episode of season 1. I really hope we can see her again. Sorry, I'm gonna jump cut there for a second because my camera froze. And but yeah, I'm very curious to see what they have in store for Annie and what Zeke's plan is, because they really didn't touch on it. So without further ado, since I've talked for almost 13 minutes, let's jump into season 4, episode 9 of Attack on Titan: Brave Volunteers. Let's go.
君はこんなことを聞かされても困ると思うけど、聞いてほしいんだ。3年前の
Oh, Armin in his shell. I think that's Armin.
何かを変えられたかもしれない。
We're jumping back to 3 years ago. So this is when the scout ship first arrived.
打ち負かし世界を脅かす悪魔の島。何としてでもその実態をマーレに持ち帰るのだ。
Huh. Oh, it's Eren, similar to Eren Kruger. So I was wrong. It was Eren's the one who's carrying these ships and doing stuff to them. It wasn't Armin. Hanji with the warm welcome. Trying to like speak with them in like a nice way. There's still Eren just sitting there. You pointing a gun at him? Yeah. Exactly. Not a good idea. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, the girl! The girl shot him. And then there's that guy who's flying the ship. So it was really like an open invitation. They wanted to join. So now we're in the past. Sasha's back for now. And it's like old everybody. They all look the same as the end of last season. That is true. They have guns and you have swords. At the end of the day. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Dude, she pointed that in her face. Man, it really shows you that they have no idea what the hell guns are. It's like, woo! We already lost one eye, Hanj. Let's keep the other. 1 million soldiers? Well, they lost a third of that, at least with Armin's explosion. And just giving all of the information. I don't think being weak is the same as being curious. That's true. They had a war on their hands, right? That's what episode 1 of this season was. Oh, so they don't know that they were all killed by them at the end of season 3, as far as I'm remembering. Yeah. Yeah, this is it. They've had to train to kill these titans. Marley. Yeah. Yeah. The war that we saw at the beginning. Okay. Yeah, they're just devout followers of Zeke. They're tired of how Marley treats Eldians, even with false promises of being a Marleyan if you serve for them. I think that's only for the soldier warrior unit. Alright, I'm ready for this. Okay, he said that on the ship last episode. Aaron realizing with his thoughts about his story at the end of season 3. Aaron's about to bring it up. Yeah, Historia. Was when touching a royal blood titan in their titan form. Yeah. That's what I was talking about! The rumbling that Willie was talking about. Holy crap. They're really gonna unleash the colossal titans from the walls? Yeah. Truth really coming out. That's why they were willing to do this. Uh-oh. Oh, Armin does do it too. I was right. Armin took out the ships. And now they have guns. The scouts have guns. That's true. It's like how everybody in Paradis was not their enemy. I suppose that's true. They have not seen a, for lack of any other way of just saying it, a black person. Oh yeah, now they're all learning about this. I guess they have not had seafood because they've never been close to the water. This is crazy. She tried to bite it. I'm gonna miss that. I'm happy that we get it. One more time. I know, this woman could eat an entire village if she wanted. Yeah. This is what the world would be so perfect if everybody could be like that. This is just a glimpse of what world peace could look like if two people from very different sides come together.
地ならして世界を脅すことでしかエルディア人を守る術はないのかなって。
I cannot believe that I mean it's been expected and talked about since the end of season 2. I mean season 1 leading into season 2 that the colossal titans are probably going to come out. I hate that transition.
大丈夫か。なんでだよ。本当にサシャは死んだのか。
He really liked her.
なんでお前ら何やってたんだよ。
Oh, that's Sasha's grave. That makes sense.
うまいもんいっぱい食わしてくれてありがとな、ニコラ。お前はどうなんだよ、コニー。
I don't want to cry again. I already cried last episode. Yeah, they were like that right there. That trio. Well, minus him. Those two with Sasha were like the trio. Oh, Sasha's dad. Oh. Man.
だからもしよかったら俺の料理を
Such a
食べ
kind
に来てください。
gesture.
もちろんただなんやろ。
Yes, people treating each other like people. That makes me want to cry even more. You never see that in this damn show.
と報じたわけか。恐ろしいね。何も知らないってのは。
お前を殺して死体をマーレに送りつけ、陰謀を明るみに出す。祖父祖母の命はないだろうな。だが、お前の言う秘策とやらが本物なら、切り刻むのを少し待ってもいい。
Plan to unleash the titans from the walls.
トグナ、お前に最上級のホテルを用意したんだ。
Ah, the finest hotel.
マーレから奪ってきた巨人化の薬は
Yo!
これで全てです。
That's a lot of titan serum.
なんと感謝を申し上げればよいことか。諸君らには借りしかない。無知な我々を希望へと導いてくれた。諸君らの勇姿を疑う。
This will at least if the war stretches out, they will have the capability to pass on titan abilities, which is good.
これ？
The forest that Annie was in?
巨大樹の森だ。これ以上お前にふさわしい宿はねえよ。
立
He's
体
a
機動
monkey.
で
お前次第だ。
Yeah, they're in prison right now.
エレンは一人でもやるつもりだった。エレンに協力しても見放しても最悪。
Exactly. He was prepared to do anything and everything that he wanted to right there.
大勢の人間を殺した。戦艦も軍人も民間。
Now he has to live with the guilt of the 300,000 people that he killed.
僕の道は断たれた。けど
The thing about this is that Annie should be able to listen. Lady Tiber was able to listen in this state.
ねえ、ハニー。何か答えてよ。
Is that how we're gonna end the episode? Is she finally gonna wake up?
でなきゃ死ぬ。勝てば生きる。
勝てない。戦え。戦え。
Oh my gosh. Well, that episode was very good and informative. Like I was talking about, Attack on Titan is a show that they like to give you the story and then give you the backstory when you finally need it, because that's very good storytelling. I like it anyways. So now that all of the events have played out up until this point, for the first 4 episodes we were building up a relationship with people in Marley. Episode 5, 6, 7, and 8 was kind of people from our side coming back and a war essentially ensuing once again, and all the events that I was talking about multiple times at this point. Then now we are finally back on Paradise, though we didn't see it. The story was kind of told in a time jumping point of view from Armin talking to Annie's self in a crystal that she turned herself into to save herself at the end of season 1. Kind of like recapping everything over the last 3 years, which I really enjoyed. Happy we got to see Sasha's face once again, and her food-loving self. She had wooed a man whose whose purpose was to cook, and I could have thought of no better match for Sasha. And I am beyond sad that she will no longer be around, and kind of like our breath of fresh air in the times of very, very sad moments and tragic moments. But Zeke's plan kind of or rather, Aaron's assumption of the plan makes my talking points about, I think in the last 2 episodes I brought it up, about how the reason that he wanted to turn sides was because Aaron can use his ability when he's touching a royal blood titan. And if he had Zeke and he just like rests his hand on Zeke and tried to use these powers of the founding titan, they should work. And they're discussing what I was saying. They're going to release these titans from the walls, at least the outer walls, to deter this war against Paradise. The only thing I have that I feel is gonna backfire is, depending on how many they release, I feel like this is gonna be a double-edged sword. They can just easily just turn around. Those colossal titans have been in there for however long, and as we see, pure titans don't give a crap who it is. They will eat them if they are a human. I wonder if once they are released, Zeke has the capability of talking and controlling them like he does other pure titans. And I'm very curious to see how this plan pans out. The flashbacks were very informative. We saw that the first ever ship fleet that showed up was in both Aaron's now styles, going up and picking him up and putting him on his shoulder, brought it to shore. Then the blonde girl and then the guy that we had met in previous episodes kind of started everything. They were the double agents in the senses that they were giving all of the information to the scouts and giving them all this new technology and everything. They gave them guns, they gave them ships, they gave them information, and then they also brought over Titan serum, which is absolutely insane. I feel like we're gonna have a scene with the Marleyans later, or Marleyans that they capture, getting kicked off of the wall in the same fashion. They're gonna either they're gonna use that Titan serum against Actually, that doesn't make sense because Marleyans can't turn into Titans. Then I think that they're just going to use it as a thing to hold on to. Assuming that they are able to hold on to these Titans for as long as possible. Aaron would eventually have to give up his. If they ever get Annie out of there, Annie could give up hers. Well, not voluntarily, I assume. Armin will eventually have to give up his. And then Zeke would have to give up his. And the only person who makes the most sense to give it to, given the circumstances, oddly enough, would be Historia. Though I don't feel like that's going to happen. I find it very fitting that they put him in in the tall tree area, because he looks like a monkey when he is in his Titan form. And I suppose it's also to keep him there. I don't know if there are going to be Titans there to keep him kind of at bay, but at the same time, if there were, he can kind of utilize them as weapons. That's like the whole thing about the Beast Titan. But he keeps talking about wanting to see Eren and wanting to see Gabby and Falco, so I'm very curious how that's going to pan out. The one scene that we saw Gabby in this episode, once again, saying Eren Yeager's name with the utmost fury in her eyes. But yeah, the whole episode was very good and very informative. I'm very curious to see where this goes now that we have an understanding of how Marleyan troops have started working with the Eldians on Paradis through Zeke's plan. I'm very, very excited to see Zeke finally talk to people, being Eren and whatever else may happen. Eren seems like he's going off the deep end. Armin is confiding in a crystallized Annie about everything that they've done. And yeah, very, very good episode. Oh, and I was right about Armin blowing up the ships with his Titan form. So we both Eren and him individually swam out into the water and turned. But yeah, I think that's everything I have to talk about. I just honestly, every episode of this show just makes me excited and curious for the next. So if you stuck around and listened to me blabber for however long that I have talked in the beginning and now, thank you very much. And I hope you enjoyed my reaction. And until next time with the next episode of Attack on Titan, I hope you all have a fantastic day and peace.